Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, thank God it's Friday. You know, they got a little bit of a late start yesterday in the Masters once the Lightning and Thunder rolled through, but they did get it going late morning. What do you think on the first round?
Well, it's really not over yet. They had to suspend a pretty good portion of the field because of darkness, and you knew that was going to happen after about a 2.5-hour delay. So when they resume, now Bryson DeChambeau has the lead. He's 7 under par, and he is finished his round, and he's one shot up on Scotty Scheffler, who also finished his round. But there are a number of other golfers who still have to go. Tiger Woods, for instance, is actually playing pretty doggone well. He's 1 under par through 13 holes. So he's going to have to complete the rest of his first round and then the entire second round all today. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for him. But nonetheless, it is the Masters. It is the first of the year's Grand Slam golf events, and it is a very big deal.
Got any money on anybody right now?
No. Not in this one, no.
Come on, man. Where am I supposed to put my chocolate chips? All right. Yesterday, I don't know how to talk about it. It's such a complicated situation. But O.J. Simpson, your thoughts, sir?
The juice really had everything going for him. Tremendous football player at Southern Cal, All-America Heisman Trophy winner, Buffalo Bills, their key running back, star of the show, and really, Mike, when you think about it, an absolutely marvelous salesperson. It was the acting in O.J. Simpson that I think really brought him to the fore. Do you remember the commercial where he's running through the airport and jumping over tables and all this sort of thing? That was classic. That was probably rated as the top commercial for its time period in the early 70s, all across the country. Then, well, he lost control of his emotions, and there are many, although he was found not guilty, wasn't found innocent, but he was found not guilty of murdering his wife and her boyfriend. He still lived a rather sordid existence after that, did spend time in jail, got sued beaucoup amounts for wrongful death, and I don't know how the legal system works, but he really kind of paid the price in a way. Well, he did pass away yesterday at the age of 76 from prostate cancer. That's a shame because O.J. was an iconic figure in this country. Like him or not, everybody knew the identity of O.J. Simpson.
I mean, he was on Naked Gun, but just really not a great story. A great way to end what could have been an incredible story. Kids don't do drugs. Last but not least, the feds having made their arrest in their major theft from the Dodgers star. Man, I feel so bad for Shoji. If this is true, dude stole so much from him. Not just money. I mean, money to this guy, I mean, at this point, he's making more money. It's no big deal. But just that betrayal, I feel for him. That sucks.
This was supposedly his close friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And had been for a number of years. And the amount of money, folks, is $16 million. Now, interestingly enough, the feds did tremendous research on all of this. They took much of Shohei Ohtani's personal items and cell phones and so forth. They do not implicate him one little bit. They said he's not involved in this scheme. It was all the translator, Epi Masahara, and he's accused of stealing over $16 million, faces a 30-year prison term and a fine of well over $1 million, which he may or may not be able to pay. But the fact is that Shohei Ohtani has to feel defeated by all of this, if it is all true, and we assume it is since the feds are not charging Ohtani with anything. Interestingly enough, in another case that's completely divorced from all of this, is Rashee Rice, who did turn himself into the police late yesterday afternoon. They put him in jail for a very brief time and then released him on $40,000 bond. So he is free, at least for now, pending on what the judicial system decides.
Back to Shoji, I was reading it up in that last night, and his partner, translator, friend, whatever you want to call him,
Sahara,
$40 million in debt. In gambling at one point.
How can that happen?
$40 million.
And you think about that note, Tim, Mike, and you figure, how in the world can you let yourself go to that point? That is a total lack of discipline.
I mean, you know, I'm a big proponent of getting gambling here in Missouri, but I know it's an extreme, but that's what happens when people can't control themselves. Just like with drugs and alcohol, it's the same thing with gambling. So I don't know. Don't look now. But the Kansas City Royals, my guys, are 9-4. Let's go.
How about when they played the Astros yesterday afternoon? 9 runs in the first inning. 9 runs, 11 hits in the first inning. That game's over, and it was. And the Royals win 13-3, sweep the series with Houston. They've won 7, they being Kansas City, 7 straight games. Now head to New York City and play the Mets at Citi Field. Mike, I love this. I think it's a great story, and the Royals are for real. Now, are they a contender? Probably not. But are they a definite pain in the behind to a lot of these other teams? You bet they are. These guys can play. Now, what has me a little bit disturbed, and I think you understand the history behind this, is the teams that get off to a rocketing lightning start like this also have a tendency to fall into the freezer pretty quickly. And I hope that doesn't happen to the Royals, but I'm afraid it is a possibility. Their team is good. They aren't great. But the fact is they are not too very far away from being a contender. But 13-3 says it all, 7 straight wins, and, hey, raise hell while you can. That's the key.
Absolutely. And you know what? As being a young team, hopefully if they do face adversity this season, it won't be a problem, and they can grow from it, and they will become a contender. So go Royals. Speaking of big scores, the MSU Bears certainly had a pretty good game yesterday, didn't they?
Now think back to yesterday about the noon hour, a little bit before then. These games the Bears are playing at home this week, and they're all starting at 11 o'clock in the morning because the Springfield Cardinals are home at night. Okay, 11 o'clock in the morning. Do you remember what it was like at that time?
It was cold, man.
It was cold and
yesterday.
windy. It was very windy, but the sun was out. It was clear. But the wind, it was blowing out to right field at Hammons Field. The Missouri State Bears hit 6 home runs yesterday. 6 of them. Zach Stewart, the future, in my opinion, future Major League player who plays right field for the Bears, kid from Lebanon, had 2 home runs, 6 of them, and the Bears win it 17-3 over Illinois Chicago. The game was halted by the mercy rule. They have a mercy rule in college. After 7 innings, 17-3. Now they play again this morning at 11 o'clock at Hammons Field, and they have to get this game really over ahead of time because the Springfield Cardinals are playing a doubleheader that begins, I believe, at 4:45 in that vicinity, 4:45, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. Should happen, but the Bears will be there at 11. That Diamond's going to get a pretty good workout today.
Yeah, it is, and that concession stand is too. Springfield Cardinals, speaking of which, are they still unbeaten?
They are still unbeaten. How about this? 5 in a row to start the season. They were down 6-3 going into the last of the 9th inning against the Wichita Wind Surge last night. Tied the game. Tied it up with 3 runs in the 9th inning. 6-6 ball game. And then in the 10th, drove home the winning run. Springfield 7, Wichita 6 in 10 innings. 5 straight wins to start the season for the Springfield Cardinals. They play again tonight at Hammons Field. It's a doubleheader that begins late in the afternoon. And then have a night game on Saturday night and a Sunday afternoon game at Hammons Field. This team's pretty good. This is not a fluke. They have some very good young talent on there, and they're going to make a name for themselves.
Absolutely, and I believe you're pretty much living at Hammons Field this weekend. So
we have our Saturday night game will be on TV, and then the Sunday afternoon one will be as well.
All right, well, you don't work too hard, and enjoy the baseball this weekend, Ned. I will see you on Monday.
Yes, sir.